All right, let's get into equations of lines. This is actually quite a review topic for a geometry class. That doesn't mean we know it or remember it from Algebra 1. So let me go over, I'm going to go over three different forms or types of equations for a linear equation. A linear equation, of course, means a lines equation. The first one is the slope-intercept form, and that's the one that you're going to be most used to, I think, from Algebra 1. Its format looks like this: y equals mx plus b. Let me explain the guts of this thing a little bit. M represents our slope. This is our slope. B represents our y-intercept. And I think the part that doesn't always get explained is that the x and the y here represent all of the points that exist on that particular line. And so when we're solving for if something is on a line or those types of things, x and y represent all points on that particular line. Now, there are different things that may be given to you to ask you to find the equation in slope-intercept form. And the easiest, of course, would be for you to know that the slope is 1/3, and then it goes through 0 and 5. Now, this is my slope, and 0 and 5 is a y-intercept because x is 0, so 5 is on the y-axis. So this is just simply this equation here. Now, the truth is, life isn't going to be that easy on you, but that's not a bad place to start. I will say that some students, let's try a similar problem. Let me say that this was a 9, for instance. Some students look at this and say, oh, this is easy too, 1/3 and the 5. But this is not the y-intercept because this is not 0, 5. So let's find this particular one. What is missing in what we need to know? Remember, the two things that we need to know is our slope, and actually we know that, don't we? And we need to know our y-intercept, and that is what is missing in this particular case. So in the original equation, I have everything but this. I have an x value, I have a y value, I have a slope. I know everything but b, so I can actually solve for b. And once I do that, I would have the slope and the intercept, and I would have the equation. Let's do it. The 5 goes in for, actually, let me write it out like this so you can see what I'm doing. 5 goes here. Slope is 1/3. X is 9, and here is our b. So 1/3 of 9 is 3. And then I move the 3 over and I get a 2. At this stage, both items I needed to know exist. I know the slope, so my equation would be y equals 1/3 x and plus 2. This would be the equation of a line that would go through the intercept of 2 and have a slope of 1/3. Nicely done, isn't it? The only other thing we could do to you here in this kind of question is not give you the slope either, which is kind of a tricky thing. So how would that work? Well, that might be 2 points. So they might tell you -1 and 4. And they might tell you, let's see, 5. Let me do some quick calculating here. And 16, let's say. So let's try this out. Now here's our problem. We don't have a slope, and guess what? We don't have an intercept either. So let's first find our slope. We've learned the formula would be 16 minus 4. 5 subtract a -1. This is 12 over 6. Our slope is 2. All right, one of the two items is handled. Now, guess what? We go back to the step we just did a minute ago where we know a slope, but we do not know the intercept. Neither of these represent intercepts, and so we're going to use one of those points to help us out. There we go, back to the drawing board. I know a point x and y. You pick what you like. I'm going to stay away from negatives. I'm going to go with a 16 for a y, a 2 for the x, or for the slope, 5 here, and then this value, and b equals 16 minus 10 is 6. The answer to what is the intercept, slope-intercept form of this would be our line. Those are basically the three things that can happen. You either get both items, easy. You might get just a slope and a point, and then you got to find b. Or here you might have to find both of them, but that's pretty simple. The second guy, second form, is known as Pointslope Form. Now this guy is less known, honestly. It's the kind of thing where, for whatever reason, it isn't taught as often with Algebra 1 classes. It looks pretty nasty compared to the last guy, actually, but the truth is this guy is designed, well, let's talk about that for a minute. The last guy's strength, why do we like slope-intercept form? It's easy to graph with, right? Like if I tell you y equals 2x plus 6, watch how easy it is to graph. I go up to 6 because that's its intercept. I do a rise of 2 and a run of 1, and I'm immediately graphing. So that's why in Algebra 1 we saw a lot of that, because it creates an easy way to graph a line. What's the strength of point-slope form? Well, it is to just simply make an equation. Now this looks nasty, but ultimately we're just going to drop in a slope and a point, and it will immediately create an equation. Watch. And having a slope and a point is very normal to have. Let's say we had something like this. All we would do is we would do y minus 8. So there's the y minus 8 equals 3. We'll drop in the other guy here, x minus 1. This is actually point-slope form. Now inside of you, you're dying because you want to simplify this or change it or something. But the truth is, if all you need is an equation, it's ready to go. It's designed right. Now, sometimes we will convert this to slope-intercept form. Not always, but sometimes we will. And we can do that. Let's do that just to show you how easy that is as well. There it would be in slope-intercept form when I move that over. Point-slope form's power is that you just drop in the values. Let's do another one really quick. Let's get some negatives involved. -4 and -2 with a slope of 1/3. Now, the fractions always scare us, but watch how quickly we can do this. This would be y subtract a -2, and this would be x subtract a -4. And so our final answer for slope-intercept form would just look like this. And again, we could convert it, but why? We just wanted the equation. Bing! All right, the third one. The third format is known as intercept form or standard form. Standard form. And it is really its power. Why do we care about another form? And it looks like this. ax plus by equals c. Notice, this is kind of rare, that the x and the y are on the same side of the equation. This is called standard form. And its power is intercepts, to find the x and y intercepts. And I'll show you why. So let's say we had 3x plus 4y equals 12. Let's say this was our standard form, and we were wanting to find the intercepts of this. Well, to find an intercept, you would plug in a 0. So if we wanted to find the y-intercept, the x value is 0. And watch what happens. When x is 0, we zero this out and we solve an easy problem. We divide by 4 and we get 3. There's the y-intercept. Now if we want to solve for an x-intercept, we make y 0. Watch what happens here. I zero that out. and 3 into that goes 4. There are the intercepts. And if I cared to graph this, this is 0 and 3, and 4 and 0, and I could graph that quite quickly. There are the 3 forms quite quickly at you. The most popular is slope-intercept form. We did a lot in algebra with that. It carries the ease of graphing. But I need you to know these other ones, and they come in a couple of different forms, and they can do a lot for you. Good luck with this stuff.